when they first come in, ask them what their expectations are. What is your budget? First of all, what's your budget, and what is the timeline that you need this completed by?
Obviously we're talking about the customer expectations and trying to get them in line with what we're able to deliver as a flooring entity. So you've touched on a couple things, but are there any other methods other than just sort of trying to be patient? I think you made a good example a minute ago when you talked about comparing it to something they maybe go through at their work when you're talking about supply time and things like that. Any other tricks or techniques that have been effective for you in having those conversations?
When the customer first came in, obviously we talked about, I kind of already hit on this, is like when they first come in, ask them what their expectations are. What is your budget? First of all, what's your budget, and what is the timeline that you need this completed by? And then you kind of work backwards in that sense. Don't go and just pick something out for them or have them look at products. You start with their vision for their home, their timeline, and their price point. And then you work backwards at that point. Because right now, you'll have to do a lot of research and figuring out if the manufacturer even has enough for you to purchase to complete it in that timeline. So you're working from, let's say you have 7 products that would fit into what this customer has in mind. You start off with those 7 products that fit into the price point that they would need. And then you have to call and make sure that they had enough in stock. So then by the end of looking at the 7, you might only have 2 or 3 that you can actually show the customer. So you're working backward instead of what we're used to doing is walk around our showroom with the customer, having them look to see what jumps out at them. Having books or the slideshows really help with pictures because these homeowners, they're coming to you because they need help. They can't put it all together. That's not how the way that their brain works. Their brain probably saves lives every day in a hospital where you don't want me in a hospital. Like I'll faint on you, So you have to show them pictures also. And maybe you could put those pictures in categories of price points too. Like if they need a whole bathroom remodel, but they only have $20,000 to spend. Well, you take examples of jobs that you've done in the past that kind of evened out to, obviously give or take a couple of thousand. Okay. Cause that's kind of how it runs, and put them in a binder. So your customer can kind of see what they will be getting for 20,000, or if they have 40, what they'll be getting, what they can do for 40,000. So the 20,000 might be reusing their cabinets, but then just having a painter come in and redoing the paint on them. So then you're tearing out a tub and putting in a shower instead. And you're doing small things like that, just different budgets for the different pictures is very, very helpful to the homeowner. So then they can start understanding, because what if they could really afford 40, but they just came in saying 20 because they're just trying to do as cheap as possible. Well, then they'll be like, no, this 40 is actually really what I want. All new shower, seamless doors, and new everything.
A lot of sense. That's a good strategy, and hopefully that's something our people out there paying attention and listening that are sales appointments can take to heart, because I think staying organized and helping disseminate the information to the customer in a way that's digestible for them and helps them, make a decision. And obviously you want them making a decision to buy from you. So the more organized and structured that you can make your presentation, obviously the more likely you are to develop a connection with them and be able to provide them with a solution that's going to fit this budget that you've now explored and got them to open up to you a little bit about. That's always a tricky one, getting the client. I've had issues in the past trying to get clients. They're always scared to give a budget because they think you're going to end up pricing to their budget, and then they got it for less. But they don't realize, it's a really important piece of information that's going to help us guide them, to get the solution that they actually want. So that is a skill and a tactic of a good salesperson to get the client to open up a little bit so that you can troubleshoot and problem solve and give them, good quality advice that's going to ultimately lead to them making a purchase, and hopefully from you as a salesperson.
Right. Absolutely.